Hello everyone, my name is Sam Webber. I'm an incident meteorologist here on the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon Fire with the Southwest Team 2. We're going to go ahead and get started with your Saturday Facebook weather update by doing what we've always done and take a look at a big picture satellite view of the southwestern United States. So if you look here, we've got New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Texas, and Oklahoma over here. Now, what you'll find over our area is an area of really just clear skies. We've got a high pressure system parking pretty much overhead today, and you can kind of see that counterclockwise or that clockwise circulation around. You can see these clouds up into northern Utah and even out over the plains, kind of circulating up in a clockwise direction. You can see storms firing along the southern plains once again this morning, and then clouds shooting up out of Mexico and Arizona up to the north, where all of our moisture that we saw a couple days ago has now pushed off to that side. And so we'll run into the next loop here, and this is a different look at what we just showed you. This is water vapor imagery. So essentially what it is the cameras that are up in space are looking down and trying to figure out how much moisture is in the atmosphere. So you see these areas of yellow and orange representing really dry air, and these areas of blue, green showing much more moisture. So you can see that thunderstorm over southwest Arkansas, northern Louisiana, putting up a lot of green because that storm is firing a bunch of moisture into the atmosphere. Over us here, where we're really dry and really warm, you can see a lot of orange shading that represents those, or that translates to those humidities that we've been seeing. Yesterday we were down around the upper single digits for low humidities during the day. So, and then that moisture that I mentioned pushed off to our southwest. You can see it there in the blue. And that's going to become an important part of our forecast as we head into today and tomorrow, because winds are going to start shifting out of the west-southwest direction, which is going to bring some of that moisture over our area and bring some chances for some showers and thunderstorms. I will say those showers and thunderstorms will be largely dry because of what we have going on right now over here. Our lower atmosphere is really dry, and we're moving some of that moisture in overhead, so it's not going to have a good chance to rain through that dry layer. It will just dry out. So we'll go one more here, and something that I want to bring your attention to is this little spot here just west of Taos in the Carson National Forest. If you're seeing or smelling a lot of smoke this morning, that's because that fire right there, the midnight fire that started a couple days ago, had a pretty big day yesterday and put up a lot of smoke. And that smoke has moved eastward over our fire and into Las Vegas area in eastern New Mexico. And that's what you're seeing out there. That's not the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire. That is that midnight fire. So expecting another big day on that fire today as well, with those warm and dry conditions in place. So we'll move on here, and we'll jump right into our 3-day weather forecast. Here I have today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. And what you'll see today is I mentioned that area of moisture that was further west over Arizona and southwestern New Mexico. You can see this green hatched area representing where the Weather Prediction Center thinks they're going to see showers and thunderstorms. What I've done here is outlined a little area in brown where I think we're going to see more of that moisture come up overhead, around the 20,000 foot level, so really high up in the atmosphere, and we could see some isolated dry thunderstorms. Again, dry thunderstorms means that we're going to see little to no rain out of those storms, maybe a tenth or of an inch of rain or less, maybe even a couple hundredths at best if we get a really strong storm. But the big threat today for those are going to be the lightning potential out of those. So they're still going to be thunderstorms, so they're going to be able to put down lightning in the area. It's just not going to come along with that water that, if that lightning strikes somewhere and it starts a fire, you're not going to have the rain that comes in and starts to put it out initially. So that could become a hazard both today and tomorrow as we start to see some of that moisture shift out as this area of high pressure keeps on moving off out to the east of us, and we start to move into a more critical fire weather period. Here on Sunday, you see this gray area again, representing where we're expecting to see critical fire weather conditions. And Sunday, I even think this could be extended a little further east into north central New Mexico, because we are going to start to see some near critical fire weather conditions, which means high winds and low relative humidities. By Monday, we really set up into that fire weather pattern that I just talked about, and you see that gray area really expand over New Mexico. So winds expected to be even higher on Monday, humidities just as low as we've been seeing them, and no precipitation, very little cloud cover. So that'll be something that we're going to be messaging here at the fire, especially since we still have active burning going on in the Pecos Wilderness. We'll move on here. And we've got that area of high pressure over us today. This is going to be the hottest day that we've seen so far since this team's been here. We're looking at near record high temperatures, if not breaking them. So you'll see here, Las Vegas, the forecast for today is 97 degrees. The record for today is 95 degrees. So the forecast is to break that record by 2 degrees, and we're going to see a lot of that similar temperatures over the fire area. So it's going to be a really hot, really dry day today, again with that chance for those dry thunderstorm potentials. So moving along, we'll go into what the National Weather Service has put out for watches, warnings, or advisories. And this area in pink that stands out the most is a red flag warning. So I mentioned how Sunday, I think that area of critical fire weather could be shifted a little further east, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here. The National Weather Service, I was thinking the same thing, is that it's going to be a near critical, if not critical, fire weather day. So they put out a red flag warning for high winds and low relative humidities for Sunday to Sunday evening. Underneath this, there is a fire weather watch for that Monday period, which I just talked about, which we think is going to be even more significant than this Sunday period. And then you'll see all the other fire weather watches in the area. Also, hidden underneath this, you can't see it, but there is a heat advisory out for the eastern parts of New Mexico and even some of these northern valleys. So again, hot day today, near record, so all makes sense. We'll move on. And so I talk about that Monday period being our more significant fire weather day. We already have a fire weather watch out for it. And this, I just want to show you what we're talking about when we're talking about fire weather patterns. So this is a look at a forecast model, what it's thinking for the winds and relative humidities at 10,000 feet in elevation. So right around ridge top level, if not just a little below, we're looking at, on the right here, these green shaded areas are anywhere from about 25 knots, so about 30 miles per hour, to the lighter shading of green, about 31 to 32 knots, or upwards of 36 to 37 miles per hour. So those are some pretty high winds just at ridgetop level or just below ridgetop level. So we're expecting those strong winds up on the ridges or even a little bit higher. And some of those winds potentially even translating down into the valleys. So there's your wind for Monday. If you look here on the left, this 10,000 foot relative humidity, that's our measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So at 10,000 feet, these darker colors represent really dry conditions. So right here over northwest San Miguel County, we see a little bit of deep red. That's about 20% relative humidity in an area that usually has a little bit more moisture. So it's going to be really dry, and you can see all this deeper red across the Four Corners region. That's all dry, that's all windy. This fire weather pattern is really going to wreak havoc on the southwestern United States, especially with those fires like the midnight fire that I just mentioned that hasn't really had a lot of containment, those initial starts that are really getting going strong. So Monday will be the day to watch out for as we go forward into next week. So we'll move one more here, and this is where we'll end it. This is our forecast matrix. Again, you'll see a lot of red on this map. As I just talked about, that critical fire weather period or that critical fire weather pattern that we're going to be going into really starts Sunday when we start to pick up some of those winds, and even goes into Tuesday and a little bit of Wednesday. Today, hot and dry, getting a little bit cooler. I don't want to say too cool because it is still going to be hot. It's just not going to be as hot as today. Just as dry, if not drier, increasing those winds, and then heading into late next week, we could see another push of moisture from the Gulf in the plains to our east. Could get a little wetting over the fire, bring up our humidities, and hopefully start to moderate conditions just a little bit. So with that, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.